Global warming is a real hot-button issue. It's the question here of whether the Earth is getting warmer, and are humans to blame? Well, one researcher and author says man-made global warming is really just a bunch of hot air. Steve Goreham here to talk about that issue. He joins us now. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Dan. Great to be here.
Your book here, Climatism, Science, Common Sense, the 21st Century's Hottest Topic. It's filled with facts and argument supporting your side. Basic question here, is global warming happening, and is man responsible?
Well, global warming is happening and climate change is continuous, but it's due to natural cycles of the Earth, not man-made greenhouse gas emissions.
One of the things that is always interesting is when you talk about the timeline, and people say, sure, the Earth is getting warmer, but then you have to look at what period of time we're talking about, right? Because the Earth has gotten warmer before and cooled and gotten warmer, right?
That's correct. Most of your viewers may not know, but we've had 1 degree of temperature rise since the Civil War in global temperatures. Actually, 1.3 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. Yet we sit here in Toledo, and geologists tell us if we were here 15,000 years ago, we'd have 5,000 feet of ice on our head.
Which is fascinating. Well, and I know you've got plenty of charts and graphs here in the book. One of them shows sort of temperature rise and fall over time. Back in the medieval times, right, about, 1,000 years ago, it was quite warm then, wasn't it? And I don't think they were driving around in SUVs, were they?
That's correct. There was a medieval warm period, and the Vikings settled South Greenland, and there are still bodies buried under permafrost today, graves in South Greenland. So it was warmer in those days than it is now.
Well, we hear so much sort of from the other side of the argument, right? I mean, it's very prevalent. It's almost accepted as fact, right, that the Earth is getting warmer and that we are to blame. Why is this push out there? Why have we in the media been so willing to maybe accept this? Why are politicians pushing this so hard?
Well, Dan, the world jumped to a conclusion. About 1988, Al Gore had a scientist by the name of James Hansen come before Congress, and Dr. Hansen testified that he was 99% sure the Earth was warming up and that man was causing it. Many other scientists at the time said, well, we don't know enough about the climate to make that sort of statement, but the 99% sure guys won out. And then in 1992 at the Rio de Janeiro conference, the Earth Summit, 38 nations signed a treaty saying they would reduce greenhouse gases. And for the last 18 years, they've been arguing about how much to reduce those, yet we now have more and more science that says cycles of the oceans, solar effects, and clouds and weather are the big factors, and carbon dioxide is very small.
I want to get to some pictures that you have in the book, and we have some graphics made up here because they kind of, they say a picture tells a story, don't it? Rod Stewart, I believe, says that, in fact. Check this one out, Steve. What's going on here? This one's interesting.
Well, the first one addresses melting Arctic ice, which in 2007 did get to a 30-year low. But this is a picture of the United States nuclear submarine Skate, surfaced at the North Pole in March 1959. And March is always a time when the ice is thickest. Yet if you look at the picture, you notice in 1959 we had sort of a lack of ice. And indeed, Arctic ice comes and goes due to natural cycles and not due to carbon dioxide emissions.
Talk about this one here. This one's also interesting.
This is the P-38 Glacier Girl, and the story was in 1942, 8 planes that were being ferried to Europe had to crash land on the surface of Greenland. It took 3 expeditions to find them. The last one used sophisticated subsurface radar. This is actually a picture of an ice cave, and that is 270 feet under the ice cap of Greenland. The last 50 years, from 1942 to 1992, 270 feet of ice accumulated on what is supposed to be the melting Greenland ice cap.
Interesting, and those are the pictures to prove it. All right, well, this is an issue that you can't really get too deep into in just the 3 minutes that we have here, unfortunately. But I highly recommend, if you have any interest, check out the book here. It's called Climatism. Folks can get it